What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 90s First Podcasting Network. My name is Mike, and alongside my co-host Joe, we take a look at some 90s content that we just can't stop watching. Join us on our flagship show, the 90s First Show. We look at some 90s content that Joe and I are watching, as well as some current stuff, and we end it with a 90s trivia contest. Or join us on Test Your Might, a video game debate show where we battle it out on the current news. Joe hosts as our good buddy Cicero and I try to get the high ground and go 1000 IQ against each other. If you would like to connect with us, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the 90s First. And finally, if you would like to support us monetarily, we have a Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/the 90s First to show general support for as little as $1 a month. So whether you're listening to the 90s First show or Test Your Might, Joe and I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope that you have a blessed day.
Gentlemen, we're back. Test Your Might, episode 20. I missed the last one, but y'all replaced me with a pretty amazing guest. Don't do it again. No, I'm just kidding. If you guys haven't listened to it, everyone listening, go back and listen to last week's episode. We had Paris on, and if you don't know who that is, listen, and you'll know. But yeah, we had Paris Lily on, and it was nuts and awesome, and I missed all of it because I wasn't here for it. They did it when I couldn't be here. So you got a better person on. I'll say it.
Well, you stop making us guilty.
You got called out in the episode, sir. And as a callback to that episode, I will say that the next time Paris Lily comes on the show, and thanks Paris for joining in our crazy shenanigans. But the next time he comes on the show, he will be replaced by David Ajala.
Wait,
Yeah,
Paris will be replaced,
you're gonna have to tell him to listen to this because I don't know if he's gonna listen.
Paris will be replaced by David Ajala.
All right, perfect. I'll be here. So, yeah,
Right.
I feel better now. Thank you.
Right. No problem.
Cicero, back
Yes,
as always.
sir.
Mike,
I am.
back as always. Jelly,
Hello,
hey,
hello.
I'm back, you guys. You're listening
Hey,
to me.
Jelly.
I know you missed me last week.
You did.
Are you guys ready for our question of the day?
Let's do it.
What is the favorite collectible that you own? And Mike, we'll hit you first.
Oh man, so I have a pretty good comic book collection. So
Yes, you
my
do.
favorite collectible is probably Avengers issue 1, like the original,
Original Avengers
like
1?
the original Avengers issue 1. I have that comic book.
And you know it's in the
Wow.
cellophane.
This
It's
is-
living in the plastic wrap.
So for those of you in podcast land who can't see my eyes, my
They're saucers.
eyes are in the central time zone, but my eyebrows are in the eastern time zone. Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I have a lot of old comic books. Daredevil, I have like issue 2 through 100, like completed pretty much. I just need issue 1, but issue 1's incredibly expensive. But yeah, I
Any
got
patrons out there want to donate Mike a few $1,000s?
yeah, I got issue 1 of Avengers. It's probably my favorite collectible. And then a shout out to another one, honorable mention. I have Walter Payton's rookie card, and
Whoa.
it's not
All right.
mint. It's not mint, but Walter Payton is probably one of my favorite football players of all time. I didn't grow up watching him because I was born in the 90s, but let me tell you, I grew up watching the VHS tapes of his highlights and just Bear history in general. And Walter Payton's such a sincere, wonderful guy, and to have his rookie card, it's certainly one of my favorite things to own. So, yeah,
Nice.
Avengers issue 1. That's my favorite.
Cicero, the man who
Shout
has
out to
things.
Sweetness. Yeah.
What is your favorite thing? Your favorite
Oh, man.
collectible?
my favorite collectible is the collectible that I have. So I was also a prolific comic book collector.
Ooh.
Not quite as prolific as Mike. I don't have an Avengers #1, but I did have a Todd McFarlane Spider-Man #1 and 2 variant covers. I of course bought that new when it was originally issued in like 88 or 89 or something like that.
That's amazing.
So I had a pretty extensive comic book collection. I also had a very extensive baseball card collection.
Oh yeah.
Where I had a Mickey Mantle. I think it was his second year. I had a Pete Rose rookie. I had a Roberto Clemente rookie card.
Oh.
And you know, the list went on and on. I probably had in total probably around 1,500 baseball cards, and about 300 or so comic books. So astute listeners will notice that I'm talking about those things in the past tense.
I was noticing
because I was a freshman in college, had gone off to school, and I wasn't able to come home for spring break because my house caught on fire. So my house caught on fire. My house wasn't totaled, but it was not livable, and my room was in the attic. And luckily, the fire didn't make its way up to the attic before the firemen came and were able to put the fire out. But like I said, my house wasn't habitable. My parents had to live with our pastor. And while the house was empty, people came and robbed the house and stole all of my baseball cards and my comic books.
Oh, man.
Dude. So as parents, right? As parents, as we all are, one of the first pieces, the first way you haze yourself as a parent, as a new parent, is imagining the death of your child and going through the grief of what that would be like to lose something. Yeah. That was the very first time I had that experience, right? And it was actual grief.
Wow.
The second time I had that experience was when I finally got to come home and see my house as it was in some state of repair, and walking up my block and finding some of my baseball cards on the ground.
Oh, just tossed out.
Yeah,
no.
just yeah. So yeah, it still is a very, very painful thing. And that was I was in college.
Man. Question of the day took a turn to the worst.
Almost 30 years ago.
I didn't know this was gonna happen.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? But the thing is, what is great. While that heartbreak is real and palpable, what is great are the memories of having that stuff and loving that stuff and caring for it and making sure that cataloging it and doing all the things that I was able to do to show my level of appreciation of not only stuff that I had earned and collected with my own hard-earned cash as a kid, but things that my dad had given me, and that I could show him that I see the value in the stuff that he had, and give it the proper level of reverence. So that was, so it was all of the bonds that I was able to create as a result of being a card and comic book collector, and all of the friends that I've made along the way. So that pain is real, but the experience is still great.
And it sounds like everyone was okay and nobody was injured.
No one was hurt. No one was hurt.
Yeah.
It was just stuff. It was irreplaceable stuff, but it was still stuff.
Just stuff. Yeah. Man, good to know that everyone was safe and everyone was fine.
Yes.
That sucks that you lost everything, though. That is a freaking bummer. And then
Yeah.
to see it thrown out like
Yeah.
trash after you cared so well for it.
Yucky.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel, I don't have any collectibles, gentlemen. I'm not a collector. I'm not a person who holds on to things or gives things value. But my dad did. And my dad had this beautiful leather-bound copy of The Hobbit. It was a hardcover copy, leather-bound, and the whole thing was beautiful leather work done. The whole cover was like stamped, punched, and it's gone. I don't know what happened to it. My parents split, and I lived on my own for a while. And then the house was taken over, and all of our stuff was gone. But that's the first version of The Hobbit that I read. I read it when I was in 3rd grade, so I was like, 10 years old, something like that.
Usually
10, 11, 8? No,
yes,
no,
3rd grade.
8. Yeah, shoot, 8 or 9. Dang, so I was 8 or 9 years old because I said my son's 8, but he's in 2nd grade.
Right.
But he'll be 9 in
He's
3rd grade. So
late birth baby.
Yeah, November. And I was
dang, and I just read one of my first Tolkien books.
There you go.
29.
I didn't start reading big until 3rd grade, and at the end of 3rd grade, I picked that up. My dad handed it to me because we had the comic book version, the graphic novel Hobbit.
Oh, sure.
My dad had a bunch of copies, but so he had that one, and that's where I started. And then I was like, "Yo, this is amazing! I want to read the good one now." And my dad got it off the top shelf. We had, all the important books.
Did he blow the dust off of it? And
no, he cared for it very well. He loved those books. My dad was a big old nerd.
All right.
But yeah, so he had that. But I personally have not held on to anything really as a collectible. I have some things around. I've got some Harry Potter memorabilia and stuff like that, but I don't know if that's quite collectible yet. It's, it's pretty new still. It's not. Doesn't have the quite the draw that comic books and baseball cards and stuff like that
It's all good.
But yeah, I hope to one day get I found online the series Harry Potter, and the guy makes these custom hardcovers, so that's my goal. But they're like $1,500 for a complete set. And I will one day own it. I'm letting you know now that's gonna happen.
There you go.
You gotta speak it into existence.
I'm telling you, everyone listening right now, I will own that one day. They're beautiful, handmade, hand-bound, custom leather, embossed, beautiful. I mean, gorgeous. And I'm gonna have them. I will own them. They will sit on the shelf in my house, and I will read them, and I will let my kids read them, because even though they're very expensive, I don't believe that things should not, they shouldn't just sit on the shelf. They should be used and appreciated.
Absolutely.
And I think the best way to appreciate a book is to read it.
I hear you.
All right. That was a deep, heavy question of the day. Let's lighten it up. What have you guys been playing? I'm going to start it because I always have the same answer, and it's always so boring. Apex Season 8 just released.
That's not boring. That's new.
It's new. It's new and exciting, but I'm sure it's not exciting for the listeners who every week tune in to hear me say, "Oh yeah, guess Jelly's been playing Apex again." I also have been playing Breath of the Wild. Ooh,
Breath
Breath
of the Wild.
Idol.
Of the Wild. Yeah. Which has been great. And my son and I are going to bust into Titanfall 2 because he's begging to play it, so I'm gonna let him play. Maybe tomorrow we might spin up the old Xbox, jump on, and I'll let him explore the campaign with me, which should be really fun.
Nice. Nice.
Mike, I know what you've been playing.
Been playing Apex Season 8. Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about it later, so won't dive too much into it. But
Perfect.
Like I said, been exploring other media. WandaVision is great. We had a small discussion, spoiler-free discussion, because Jelly hasn't watched it. But
that's right.
We discussed how Joe is selfish.
Yeah, they took me out, gave me some lashes, and then told me I'm a bad person because I hadn't watched it yet.
So
I'll watch it. I will watch it.
Yeah, I finished Fellowship of the Ring, so I'm reading The Shining,
the Two Towers.
and Man,
Wait,
The Shining
wait.
is great.
I know.
Wait,
I know.
that is not the sequel to the Fellowship of the Ring.
It's the spiritual
successor.
Here's Johnny.
Red Rum.
No. I was on a
Gollum
quest.
saying Red Rum.
Red Rum.
I keep trying to tell Mike he's doing it wrong. He needs to put The Shining down, shelve it again, put it on the back burner, and just jump through the trilogy.
Linda, listen.
I've been trying to finish the books that I was already in, heavily.
Oh,
and
sure.
The Shining is on that list.
Sure.
So I'm finishing those books. After The Shining, I will go back to Two Towers. So don't you fret, my friends. But the last thing I'll say, I know it's a video game podcast, but if you haven't watched Watchmen, you need to. I recently...
You want to give me your login?
No, because it's my friends. I can't do that.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's a big ask.
There's free trials. Episode 6 of The Watchmen is one of the most pivotal, most important, and most impactful episodes of television I have ever watched.
Wow.
There you go. Please go watch.
Big wall right there.
If
you just said
if you've seen
television.
it, if you've seen it, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying this, but Cicero will agree because A, he is a black man, and B, just because the episode itself was just brilliant, the way it was shot, the way it was filmed. It's literally probably one of the best episodes of television that I've ever watched. So please do yourself a favor, get a free trial of HBO Max and binge it and watch Watchmen. It's so good.
Yeah. I mean, no cap. Watchmen is probably one of the best television shows of the last 5 years. Like, at least. Mm-hmm. It won a bunch of awards. It was deserving of more. So yeah. And Paris and I, set him up. It was actually kind of fitting that Mike was watching Watchmen, had gotten to episode 5, and Paris started it by asking if he had gotten to episode 6 yet, and when we realized where he was, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, you just wait.
Yeah. That's all I could say. Paris called me out and said, if you don't have some sort of emotional response to episode 6, you are not human. So I will proudly say I'm human.
There you go.
So.
We'll find out one day if
I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me.
Cicero, let's get off of this subject because I can't watch it. And let's find out what you've been playing.
All right. So what I've been playing, so people were surprised to right.
Stop it.
I've been playing HBO Max. So people may have been surprised last week to hear that I was playing Spiritfarer. I fell down a Spiritfarer rabbit hole last week. I am happy to say that I have broken my Spiritfarer addiction. But it was an addiction. It was, I probably put in 20 hours into that game in 3 days.
Whoa. All right.
It was a sickness. It was a sickness. But it was a beautifully poignant game. It was very weird. There were lots of really good drugs taken by the development team when they were developing this game, and I appreciate it all.
We will not be debating what drugs they were taking.
Right. I cannot even begin to speculate. But it was it was definitely deserving of the critical praise. It was a very, very fun game. A very good game, a very weird game, and it is a game that I think people should play, and have fun with. And it's available on Game Pass, So
There you go.
yeah, so if you want to check it out, check it out. The other thing that I've been playing is NBA 2K, the next gen version on my Xbox Series X. Now, I had been playing this game on my Xbox Series S, which is connected to my computer monitors, which max out at 1440p, that have HDR. So I had been playing it on there, and it does look better. Like, you can tell that graphically it is more detailed.
Yo, can you just stop and tell us about how it looks on that 4K TV? I don't care about your 1440p.
More detailed than it is than the previous version and the version on the Xbox One X.
You got a 2.1 TV.
But on the Series X, on my LG OLED television, it looks remarkable. So like so graphically, they look the same, the Series X and the Series S version, but the level of detail is really kind of jaw dropping. That like at certain points during the course of the game, I just stop and I look at the floor and I'm like, wow.
See the wood grain.
You literally can see
the ripples
the wood grain, and yes, you can see the creases in the floor.
Yeah.
It is remarkable. Now I haven't played Madden. I haven't been as enamored with Madden this year as I have been in years past. Shout out to Ryan Moody. But I haven't had a chance, or I haven't taken the chance to play that on my TV on the Series X. But that's probably something that I'll do next.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll look good.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, that's what we've been playing. Mike's been playing TV. Cicero's been playing games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always playing the same thing.
I'm doing my job.
Let's get into the news. Mass Effect. We've talked about it a couple times. They've got that remaster coming. It's due to drop here in just over a month and 6 days. I think we're talking, right? March 12th.
No,
Yeah.
May 14th.
No,
May
March.
May
March.
14th.
Did
No,
it get
March.
pushed?
Yes,
It got
May
pushed?
14th. No, it's not
Oh,
pushed.
when did it?
March was
It's
just
March.
a rumor. May 14th is the actual date.
Those
Yeah.
jerks.
Yeah.
What a tease, man.
On
Yeah.
Tuesday,
We've got-
man. They released all that information.
We've got Mass Effect.
They also said there's going to be less butts.
Oh, no, we've got to have all the butts, man.
No,
the
they
butts.
Need more butts.
They just changed some of the camera angles during important like dialogue sessions that were
So you're
showing
not
too
looking
much
up at
butt.
butt.
Yeah.
We need to
Is there
see
such
more
a thing?
butts.
But gentlemen, it's coming. It's here, basically. We're a little bit further off than I initially anticipated.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Learned today, though. But how are you guys feeling about it? Are we still as excited? Are we still looking forward to it as much as we were 2 weeks ago, last time we talked about it?
So for me, like Mass Effect was always a daunting game because I never really explored Mass Effect until it became backwards compatible on the Xbox One. And that game is clunky. It is clunky. It had some of the same vibes as like Red Dead 2. Like it's not fun to play, just because of its clunkiness, it doesn't feel like a video game in some cases. So I just never really completed it or finished it. I have it right here actually. But this is my most anticipated game now, just because they said they worked on some of the clunkiness, the control scheme in Mass Effect 1 specifically. So I'm really excited to play through the trilogy, and I should have my Series X by then, hopefully. Who knows? And just to play it at its highest 4K fidelity on the Series X, that'll be super fun. I'm thoroughly excited for this. It's going to be a fun time.
Cicero, you looking forward to some Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 in 4K?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that Series X that you have.
Yeah. Why not? If you think that the game, so one thing that we do know about the game was that the frame rate was really bad when the game was originally released. So, the Legendary Edition hopefully will fix that, right? Obviously, it'll fix that. So we will have it. It'll be locked at a steady 30.
Hopefully 30.
Maybe,
at least,
maybe we'll get a steady 60 out of it. I mean, they have the ability to do that. Whether or not they decide that the game can actually.
Well, they did. They did say that it can be 4K 60 in all the games. So
right. So it'll be interesting to see what that game is like, especially the first one. By the time we get to the third one, the action is definitely more fluid. So it will definitely benefit from that fluidity from that 4K 60 or that 60 frames will give you. I wonder about how it will benefit the original one, because the original one was basically just a play on or an improvement of the fighting system, the combat system from Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Knights of the Old Republic, both of those games were like real-time turn-based games. It's this weird hybrid of like you get to stop and figure out the moves, then do them, and then the action will continue, but it's not really pausing time, it's kind of slowing it down or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much they can really change that mechanic of the game without fundamentally changing what the old Mass Effect was.
Yeah.
So who knows? But I'm definitely looking forward to playing it. It's been a really long time since I've played those games, and I definitely loved at least the first two. The third one,
Yeah.
Maybe they can fix it on a remaster.
I'm just getting really excited for it. Like, just it's a game that is in a blind spot for me in video game culture and history, and so I'm thoroughly looking forward to playing it. Hopefully it's updated enough where it feels nice and good. So
I'm hoping to get on it. I played a little bit of Mass Effect 1 back on 360, however many years ago that was now.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like forever. Yeah, it's been a while. But I'm hoping to try it out and see if it's as good as I remember. I think it will be. I like the turn-based game. I liked it in the first one. I think that if they keep it the same enough and update it just a little bit, kind of make it feel more new, less dated. If it feels less dated, if it feels like more current, then I think it'd be good. 2 and 3 I never played. Maybe they're great, maybe they're not, but I didn't experience them. I'm hoping to get to experience them this time. I think it'd be fun. But yeah,
actually, oh, I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, I'm looking forward to it.
So this is a question for you guys, based strictly on the thing that you just said, Joe. It made me think of it. If you watch a classic movie that's been remastered, right? It's been, it's got Criterion Edition or something like that. So they cleaned up the stuff and they did the things that they need to do to make it look better and sound better. Would you still judge that movie by today's standards, or
No.
would you look at the movie and say, okay,
I'm thinking
things have been, there have been things that there have been movies that I've seen that have been released after this movie that remind me of this movie, but obviously that movie came first and it built the groundwork.
Mm-hmm.
I'm specifically.
It sounds like, Joe, that you're. Exactly, right? So you got special editions.
We've got the original, which is my favorite of all time.
Right.
Then we have the new remastered, which is the one that they put onto Disney Plus, which they need to take off and give us back the original.
No. Yeah, they won't do that. Yeah,
they won't do that. I know that. But If they can do what they did to make it look and sound as good with the remaster without adding too much to clunk it up, because that's what they did in The New Hope. They added the extra banthas, they added the extra stormtroopers, they added all these things that we didn't need, we didn't want.
Right.
And it took away the genuine feel of it. If it feels like Mass Effect 1, but it plays well, it'll be judged on if it is better than the original, not is it as good as today's standards could be.
Okay, all right, and that's that's the question. But to that point, but also to Mike's point, it may do all of those things, Joe, but still be clunky.
Yeah.
Right. So then how do you judge it?
Then it's enjoyment factor alone. Did I enjoy it as much as the first one? Did I enjoy this playthrough as well as I enjoyed my first playthrough? And I'm not expecting that to be a wide gap, but I want to enjoy it at least as much.
Sure.
As the first time I played it. Maybe not the first time, but you play things a few times.
Yeah.
Well.
So
I mean,
I'm just talking, Cicero. They have announced that they increase the movement speed of your character.
Right.
So even that for me is gonna help me tremendously.
Sure.
Going to your remaster remark, there are certain remasters that yes I will judge on today's standards. Like if you're talking about platformers like Crash Bandicoot or Spyro, those are types of games that they were remastered and they feel like a current gen game, or like Tony Hawk's, right?
Right.
Tony Hawk. They feel
your game
like
of the year last year.
Yes, they feel like a current gen game. Whereas this one, yes, I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, let's say BioWare remasters KOTOR.
Sure.
They're not going to change the whole turn-based system. That's a remake at this point. We're talking remasters. I had this dilemma with Halloween, my favorite horror film of all time, my 1 and 2 favorite horror film of all time. I wrote an article actually for another friend's website about how when I watched the 4K version of that movie, I contemplated whether or not it was the true way to experience that, because it wasn't filmed in 4K, or it wasn't released in 4K. It was released with
480p.
Yeah, so I totally understand that, because one of the things with Halloween is just being able to see, or to not really see the descriptive face that Myers has in his mask. And 4K, you could see that guy's dang eyeballs, so that type of thing. So yeah, I get it, but yeah, I digress. I mean, I'm looking forward to it regardless. So
yeah, all right.
Yeah, I want it to feel good when I play. And if it feels as good as the first time or original release on 360 and whatever, then I'll be happy. I mean, minor updates. That's what I want to see. I don't want them to change the game, though. I don't want a remake. I want a remaster. I think the first game was good enough, and I think they know that. I think that's why they're remastering it, and they're not re-releasing a Mass Effect. Or remaking a Mass Effect game.
It wouldn't have come out this year if it was a remake.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
100%. 100%.
All right, gentlemen. News topic number 2. Apex Season 8. It's here. Fuse. They've released a new character. They've had some minor updates. They've had a major map change on Kings Canyon. They've given us some stuff. They've taken away a little bit. How do we like it? Mike, you're the big Apex guy next to me. What do you think of it so far? Cicero, I do know that you just downloaded and started playing it. So we're going to get to you right after Mike gives us his scoop. So Mike first, then we're going to get Cicero's take on a new player in Apex.
I don't know if he's got a take with the new season. At least I don't know if he's played since we played together, which was a blast. Cicero did amazing. He was great. Just honestly, just threw this in for Joe, to be honest, in the outline, just to talk about season 8, his favorite game.
Oh, cool. I'll take it over then. Mike, I love it.
All right, cool.
I love the new character. I love that he gives us back the stacking of grenades back from season 0, season 1. I just totally ran over you. I'm okay with it though. I am enjoying it so much. The octane change where you can actually go higher or further depending on how you hit the jump pad. All of it I've enjoyed so far. I love that they gave us Kings Canyon back. I also love that they took away a week of it because they were having us play Kings Canyon for 2 weeks, and I enjoy Kings Canyon, but guess what? I still want to play the other maps. They have 2 other maps that are equally as good, if not better, in my opinion. I know people don't like to hear that, but I like the other maps a little better. And I think they're doing it right. I think that the 1 week of Kings and season 8 and the new character is awesome, but then give us back the ones that we know and we love. I think that the updates are good, if not great. The changes have been good, if not great. And I've enjoyed every bit of it. Every second of season 8 that I've played has been super fun. Mike, take it away.
I wish they were giving us a little bit longer. Kings Canyon, 2 weeks is fine. Getting rid of 2 weeks. But if they gave us a little bit longer of just solely Kings Canyon, I guess I could just go play ranked. But
yep.
I just like that new map. I really love the additions to it. It makes the map bigger, a little bit more sprawling. There's definitely still third parties, but I feel like you can recoup just a little bit, before things really go down. The 30-30 repeater, it's a fun gun. I'm not going to use it all the time.
Oh, man, I love that thing.
Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, the new legend fuse is really good. Can stack grenades. I really like that. I don't know how to use his ultimate, but regardless, I don't know why we're talking. Cicero is the quintessential Apex player of the three of us.
Cicero, tell us how it is.
Tell us.
Listen, I've already completed season 8. I'm ready for season 9. Let's go. Let's go. It's done. I've watched it all. I binged it. Look, I had a blast disappointing Mike when we played Apex.
The only thing you disappointed me about was your comms, man. You didn't tell me when you were dying.
Yeah, I didn't know I was dying until it was happening, and then it was like, oops.
I just turned into a box.
Right.
Is this the next mode?
Yeah. So. The thing that's been amazing is like over the last 6 months or so, I've gotten back into BRs in a big way with Modern Warfare or with Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone, and it's led me back into some other BRs. It's led me back into PUBG. It hasn't led me back into Fortnite. I'm not doing that again.
Good,
that can stay
it.
off my lawn. But
I'm with you.
But it did allow me, it did give me the courage to jump back into Apex. And what I've realized is that, they're different, like they're the same, they're similar muscles, but they're different muscles, these different BRs, completely. Right. And very much so. And the thing is, all of the time that I've spent with Warzone has hurt my ability to play Apex at a level, like, because it has prejudiced me against the time to kill. The time to kill in Apex is a lot longer than it is in Warzone. Oh, yeah. So when I shoot someone in the head, I've got multiple headshots against someone, or at least what I perceive to be multiple headshots. I believe that I can stand there in a gunfight toe to toe with someone and down them because I got, I had the jump on them. I was shooting them first. Everything is in my favor. They should go down.
Yeah.
And just when I'm thinking, all right, in Warzone, this is the moment where I've downed them, I still got another third of energy to get rid of in Apex. and as a result, because I'm standing there like a doofus, I get
turn
down.
around and mastiff you in the face. You know?
Not strafing, not double clutching like you should.
Right. So that's the thing that, in order for me to be successful in Apex, I would have to unlearn, and I don't know if I have the energy to unlearn it, right? Because time is finite, right? And as we get older, and we have more responsibilities, or our interests continue to grow, we learn how precious our time is.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
if I'm going to invest my time in a BR, it makes more sense for me to invest my time in the BR that I've already been playing and investing my time in than Apex.
I don't
necessarily.
know, Cicero. I'm pretty sure I was playing Apex while you were playing your 20 hours of Spiritfarer.
That is true.
You could have hanged out.
That is true. But then I wouldn't have played Spiritfarer. And then we would have all been playing, when we said, what are we playing? We all would have said Apex Season 8.
Yep. And
I wouldn't have said the crack that is Spiritfarer.
Hey.
So
I said Watchmen.
That's but nonetheless, there has been a lot of buzz about Season 8, and if some friends want to play with me, then maybe I'll carve out some time to play with some friends in Season 8.
I get it though. On Time to Kill, especially because when I played Call of Duty, I was all hardcore. I never played standard. Anything. I played hardcore everything, and hardcore everything means that you double or triple tap someone and they're down, they're dead, and you're good. And so I would always have people invite me to play on regular TDM, and I was like, can't. And they were like, you play all the time, because I played all the time. And I was like, no, but I play hardcore, so you have to play hardcore with me. And they would do the same thing. They would expect to have a lot of shield or life or whatever, and I was like, no. No. You have to use different guns in this. You have to play completely differently, and it's the same thing for Apex. When you play Apex, especially, and this is probably their biggest thing that people hate about Apex, is the shield system, and the fact that if you're kitted AF, have everything that you need, the best guns, you got a 99 or a Prowler, and you're ready to go. If you have white armor and you roll up on someone with purple or red, they're probably going to win. Even if they have a P2020, they could have one of the worst guns in the game, the worst setup. If they out shield you, they beat you. Probably 7 times out of 10. And I think that's people's biggest complaint, but it's also the thing that sets it apart and makes it different. And the thing that I like the most about it, because as not the best player in the world, it gives me a slight advantage going into a gunfight of people who are better than me, because toe to toe, they'd probably get me 9 times out of 10. But with this little disparity in the armor differences and the setup differences and the way I play, we're on even ground now. Finally, I have a game where I can play and I can be, I'm not super competitive, but at least semi-competitive in Apex, which I enjoy. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy playing ranked. And I consistently rank into platinum. I'm hoping for diamond this season, and we'll see what happens. But so I'm a platinum player, but I think if I try hard enough, I could be diamond. But that's about as high as I'll make it ever, I think.
There's something higher than diamond?
There are 2 things higher than diamond, and I'm not making it into Predator
Master
and Master.
And Apex Predator.
Or they switched them, 2 seasons ago. So Master's now like the highest rank, and then the top 500 per system. So computer, PS5, and Xbox are the Predators. It's a cool ranking system. And if you're Predator, then you are elite. You are the best of the best, and you freaking hand people their butts.
Lunch
to
money.
Keep it PG. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, we're moving into rapid fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Okay.
And we're going to keep it rapid, my friends. Are you ready?
Are you sure?
Oh, we're doing it.
I'm gonna pull a Cicero here on this first question here.
A little BTS here behind the scenes. Mike totally wrote this week's thing, as he does most weeks, and so he set himself up to take a long time.
Yeah.
So Mike, we're in it. Rapid fire. I'm going to hold you to 30 seconds. I'm going to play the Jeopardy music in the background.
I told you I'm going to pull a Cicero.
Prince of Persia, which you were super looking forward to. You love Prince of Persia. You got the old game to replay, and then you learned they were remastering it and giving you Prince of Persia again. They delayed it. Tell me how you feel, man. They basically stabbed you in the back.
It's a game. It got delayed. Yeah, people are gonna play this game. People will buy this game. I love Prince of Persia. I will buy this game no matter how far they delay it. It will be played by Mike Anstead.
All right, good stuff.
It's a game.
It's a game. They're gonna play it. People will play the game if they make it. If you build it, they will go. All right. Cicero. Overwatch 2 or Diablo 4 will more likely than not launch in 2021, aka this year. Most likely not launch
Yeah, you said that
this
wrong.
year.
But
Yeah.
Right.
So we were slated to have those games. We are no longer having both Overwatch 2, Diablo 4 either. We're getting a mobile game. Blizzard wants to put out a mobile game based on Warcraft. Is this wise? Is this good? Is the mobile market there?
Yeah. All right. So is this wise? Yes. Is this good? Sure. Is there a mobile market for to put? Yeah, there's a huge mobile market. In India, that's how they play games.
Right.
PUBG Mobile was one of the biggest games in the world just based off of India.
They only have like 1.6 billion people. Are you trying to tell me that it's like an eighth of the world population?
Right.
Playing on phones?
Yeah. So I mean, if they can get a mobile game to hit,
that's fair.
And then that. Yeah, do it. That money spends just as well as anybody else's money.
That's fair. That's true.
And as far as Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, these are games that they really want to be great, right? Yeah. They want these games to be phenomenal. Great, yeah. And because of the way the world has been for the last almost 12 months,
too long.
It just makes sense that they weren't preparing for this, So like they didn't roll that into their road maps and their schedules when they were trying to meet their deliverables on building the game. So it only makes sense that those games will be delayed, and I think we'll see as a result of the last 12 months that many games will share that fate.
Yeah, I think you're right. COVID has done some terrible things in the game industry and pushed back a lot of release dates. Sure. Mike, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, how Star Wars was no longer going to be EA exclusive. But we now know that they've made $3 billion with a B. B as in boy, $1 billion from Star Wars games alone. Holy S, man. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that Star Wars is just as popular as it was yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's, EA certainly made games, and people bought them, and people spend microtransactions on them. One of those is probably Galaxy of Heroes, on mobile. Cicero and I debated this.
Did you see how much that game amassed?
Yeah,
monetarily, it's over $1 billion alone. So over 1/3 of that $3 billion came off of a mobile game.
That's a mobile game.
Yeah. So
I was blown away.
I think they did good with their pockets. They did not do good with their games. But
don't matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
They lined their pockets well. Cicero, as the only one of us that currently has a PlayStation console, although I think Mike just got his back.
No, Mike got his back.
He finally did. That's true.
Yes.
But Miles Morales has sold 4.1 million units, which is almost as many units as exist PS5s. Almost.
In 2020 alone.
Right.
In 2020, yes. How you feeling on that one? That's crazy, right? I was a little bit shocked, to be fair.
Well, considering the fact that the game is also available on the PS4,
Yes.
on PS4 consoles, I'm not that shocked by it. Again, the Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man, or whatever that full title of that game is.
Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah, by Insomniac, our friends over there. That game is, pardon the pun, amazing. It was my game of the
Marvel
generation.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, there you go. You did it.
He's right there.
It was my game of the generation. And basically, Miles Morales built on that engine and just improved on it a little bit. So, and it, again, another beloved character within that franchise.
I say, and
so,
Miles Morales, who's
yeah,
might be one of the best Spider-Man characters of
Yeah.
all time.
So I'm not shocked at all, and they will have sold at some point 4.1 million and one as soon as I get a PS5. So
Well, there we go. Gentlemen, you know what that means. We rapidly fired off answers to that rapid fire question
crack.
of rapid fire.
Did you like my Cicero impression?
Oh, that was double
solid.
plus good. Mwah, mwah.
But you know what else? That
Well,
means?
you can do my argument when we get ready to test your might.
I'm
Cicero
gonna
just entered
test
for
of
me.
might.
Yes, test of might.
We're looking at test of might between our test of might competitors and test your might. So let's test your might. Gentlemen, are you ready for test your might?
Test your might.
How many times are you gonna say it?
As many as I can, test your might.
Right,
Fit
test your might.
into this test your might segment of test your might when we test your might. So, gentlemen, WB Games has patented the Nemesis system, which is famous in the Mordor games, which obviously both of you have played, but I have not. So, debate a game that needs the Nemesis system the most. Mike, you're not going first. Cicero. Give it to me.
A game that needs the Nemesis system the most.
Or
game
one
is it?
or one that you could see it flourishing in the game. Not necessarily that it needs it.
That is such a good question. Because you know what would be a great game to have a Nemesis system? Would be like Red Dead. Red Dead 2, we just talked about Red Dead 2. There are times when you let people go. You're chasing someone down and you can finish them off, or you can let them go. And you let them go, and sometimes there's repercussions for that. But also, what if you killed the leader of a gang, and one of the gang members that was either there or wasn't there becomes your nemesis, and then starts chasing you down, or becomes a bounty hunter and is trying to collect a bounty on you or something to that effect. That would be a really cool dynamic that could exist in world in a game like Red Dead.
All right, Mike.
Cicero, my friend.
Yeah.
One of the things that made the Nemesis system and the Shadow games so memorable, as well as what's the word? Attractive, great, I would say, was the license behind it.
Would you say grand and also wonderful there?
Yes. And so, one of the things that could capture the Nemesis system great is Batman
The Shining?
Batman Arkham City.
It's The Shining.
Batman Arkham City, not The Shining. Batman Arkham City, red rum. No, I've always thought that it would be great to have a you could take Spider-Man too, whatever, just like a superhero game, but I'm going to use Arkham City because it's one of my favorite games of all time. But Batman has such a plethora, such a vast rogues gallery, people that he's going to fight and people that would easily fit into the Nemesis system, because what's cool about Batman's rogues gallery is that he has tier lists. He has the Lords, he has Joker, Two-Face, he's got Riddler, he's got Penguin, the big guys, the generals up top, but then he's got some of the smaller ones like Poison Ivy. You throw in Harley Quinn, you throw in some of the other people that are under those generals. I really do believe that Batman Arkham City could have a fantastic Nemesis system with all the Batman villains that you see, and then you got all the way down to the grunts and everything. And plus, just letting you know, Batman's cool. Batman's cool.
Oh, is that? Are you going out on a limb?
Yeah, that's me. And I will fully be the one to admit that I forgot my last thought, and Batman is cool is now my last thought.
Okay,
go ahead. Oh, right. No.
More. There it is.
And just so you know, it works perfectly because Shadow of Mordor stole the combat system from Batman. So it kind of links back together. And so once again,
so
Batman's
you're saying they
cool.
have the same DNA.
Full circle. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Cicero, give me some thoughts.
So you know what's funny is what I appreciate about you, Mike, is that we have similar thoughts. Because when I was thinking about what games could benefit from the Nemesis system, my first thought was, the Batman series. Then my second thought was Spider-Man. And then I said, no, because those games are narrative driven, and those rogues, when Batman beats those rogues, it's for a narrative reason, and they're built to come back when they come back. They're built to return when they return as part of the narrative. And then the other thought that I had was, what's the alternative? Like, what does Batman have a choice to do? Can he can't murder his villains, because that's not what Batman does. It's not what Spider-Man does. So the only choice is to beat them and send them to jail. So, like, what's the Nemesis? Yeah, I'll get you next time, Batman. But that's what they always say.
Yeah,
and that's part of the narrative.
Nemesis system, some of the orcs, some of the goblins, they come back regardless in the game itself. And plus, you throw in the recruitment system as well, because there are plenty of comic book arcs, plenty of stories, plenty of narratives where Batman does work together with some of the villains, and it could work in this particular case. And by the way, Mister, you chose one of the most narratively driven games of all time in Red Dead 2. And you should have chosen. You chose the wrong game. You should have chosen Red Dead Online, where it is going to be easier to have and create a Nemesis system.
Except, sir, two things. One, the Red Dead Online Nemesis system would most likely be character-based, human-based, where, you can choose to become a nemesis of someone who has killed you before, and then go and hunt them down and, maybe form a posse or something to that effect. But Red Dead 2 is, while it is narrative driven and a great narrative that it is, clunky, I'll give you all of that, but it's also an open world. So yes, you can follow the narrative, but the narrative is probably only 15% of the game. The other 85% of the game is your sandbox, things that you can do. Yep. And there are plenty of times where you run into bandits and vigilantes or lawmen or any of those other things. Maybe there's a town that you've gone to and a store owner that you've robbed, and you've robbed them of their life savings. They skimped and scraped and saved to open up that store, and you've just robbed them of their life savings. I bet you they've got a vendetta against you now. And they're probably going to go out and hunt you. And that has nothing to do with the narrative at all. And it doesn't even mean that person is a villain, right? Now, if you had said, part of the Nemesis system for Batman is that Batman fights a villain and he destroys somebody's house, or, maybe there's some petty thug and he broke his arm, or he destroyed someone's house and it, destroyed someone's shop, and now that person is now a villain because you destroyed the shop. But that's not what you said. What you said was it was all about the rogues gallery. And what I'm saying is those rogues are going to be part of the narrative, because that is part of what that Batman game is all about, is those rogues and Batman defeating those rogues and getting through the narrative. What I'm saying with Red Dead 2 and why the Nemesis system would work great in there is because of all of the other stuff outside of the narrative you can use to you can manipulate the Nemesis system to utilize all these other things that are happening within that world and make that world even more colorful and bright than it already is.
You forget that there is a narrative that can be played within the Nemesis system. If you have the 4 top generals of the Rogues Gallery, that could be the story of the game. And then you have the other villains that are underneath them, like underneath the Jokers of the world, the Two-Faces. I'll even throw Bane in there, Clayface, whatever you want as your 4 generals. You have the smaller villains of the Rogues Gallery underneath them, working for them, and then eventually the narrative runs through all the Nemesis until you get to that second tier, and then that's where the narrative completes, because then you get to the general after that. I'm the clear winner here. Come on now.
Listen, you're only the clear winner if your general is insurance. Get out of here. Go talk to Shaq. Give me a break.
Hey, man, I've gone to the general and saved some time, okay?
Right. You just made 50 cents. Good job. Hold on, I'm going to build my mustache like that.
After I went to the general and decided I wasted too much time, I decided to go save 15%.
Look at that. Look at that. You got a gecko. All right, but, look, you made a fair argument, sir. But I think the community, nay the nation, nay the world, would agree with me that a game that could benefit the most from the 2 that we have given them is Red Dead Redemption 2.
And no pun intended, Cicero just said nay to a Western game that clearly involves horses.
That is correct.
So we've got the Geico Gallery of Rogues versus the Red Dead Randoms. Yes. Y'all let me know who won this one, because I'm going to be real with you. I'm not playing either of them. No, I like that.
All of our answers in order for Joe.
Hey,
Mike, are you trying to hit back right now?
Yeah, my game's in Game Pass, so you can go play it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Is Red Dead not in Game Pass?
No,
not anymore.
Neither games are in Game Pass. I was just making a joke. I was making a funny.
It was a goof. All right.
Gentlemen, it's a game.
I love the arguments. I don't know which one it would be best in. I'm going to be absolutely honest. I think that I would probably want to see it in Red Dead, because there's so many characters in there. But Batman is a great game, so I can't argue. Batman's a good game already. And Red Dead might need it, though. Let's be fair here.
Yeah.
Red Dead might benefit better for having it.
Who knows?
Where Batman's a better game to begin with.
We'll see.
That's my 2 cents. But I digress. Activision has confirmed that there will be a new Call of Duty this year. Please, give me the setting of this new Call of Duty. Mike, you actually get to go first.
Do I get to go first this time? Well then.
Call of Duty what? What are we playing this year? Call of Duty... COVID-19.
I'm gonna throw you guys for a loop, because I think the setting should be future again. I enjoyed like the Advanced Warfares. I enjoyed Black Ops 3. I enjoyed the jetpack stuff. I enjoyed Titanfall. Titanfall has that stuff as well in the gameplay mechanics. And so I'm thinking that this could be a little bit set in the future technology. I don't know if there's much debate here. I just think it'd be a better place right now because, to be honest, they've kind of tapped into a lot of the past wars, and I just think there's more storytelling in the future. So, yeah,
Cicero,
I'm gonna go that way.
Please tell me why Advanced Warfare was not the best game. Because, Mike, come on now.
I too am gonna throw you guys for a loop. A time loop. This game will take place throughout time. It won't be one time period.
Ooh.
It will be all time periods.
All right.
So
Looper.
So
Remember that game?
So
I mean,
yeah,
movie?
so
I mean,
we
game?
yeah, so we will get a Call of Duty game that will be in the Pacific theater of World War II. Will be in the African theaters of World War I. Will be in the jungle theaters of Black Ops. Will be in the Middle Eastern theaters of Modern Warfare. And we will exist in space like Advanced Warfare.
Yo, Space
I think
Force.
we will Space Force it up. I just think as they're sitting around and they're talking about what we can do, and they're trying to figure out what they can do different, the thing that they can do differently is by combining it all, because they've done it all already, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And everything, if they just choose a time period, it's gonna be a retread, unless it's the future of Halo, right? Like there is no time period that they can use that they haven't already used.
Ooh.
So why not use them
Mike.
all?
The next Call of Duty is a Star Wars crossover a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. No, I'm kidding.
Tell me why we
That's
need to go
Banta Puda.
Ender's Game on Cicero's version.
My biggest thing with I just think you could tell a more succinct story, and also have more succinct gameplay in multiplayer as well if you keep it to one time period. Because when you're talking multiple time periods like that, you're talking multiple guns. Is the 50 cal sniper from the future going to be more powerful than the 50 cal sniper from World War One? Whatever. I think you could tell a more succinct story in the campaign if you stick to one time period. I like the jetpack stuff. I like the exosuit stuff. I thought it was always a fun mechanic in the gameplay, and so I think I'm not going to go too much into the story because I haven't developed that in my mind, but I do know that within one time period you could tell a little bit more concise, succinct story that Call of Duty normally tries to do. So,
Cicero, Mike's Ender's Game over. Give me what you got.
Mike, greatest single player first person shooter campaign was in
Titanfall 2.
Greatest mission in Titanfall 2 was the one where he went back in time.
It was one story though within a succinct timeline.
And so you're saying that you can't build a succinct timeline that is, or tell a narrative that has to do with time travel?
I mean, you can, but I guess then let me throw some more emphasis onto the gameplay thing. Which guns do you choose as the meta? Which guns do you choose as the guns that you can choose from in multiplayer?
What if the guns that you get from the future have fewer rounds? They're more powerful, but they have fewer rounds, thus making you have to decide when you're going to use them. In a way, in the same way that Destiny does it, where like you've got common rounds, you've got your secondary ammo that is a little more plentiful than your primary ammo, and then you've got your special weapons, and that ammo is very, very hard to come by because those weapons are so very powerful. So, why not that? Why not add that as a wrinkle into your game? And the weapons, like there are certain weapons that we have today that we're using that are more advanced than weapons that people use in World War I. But that 1911 firearm, that handgun, is called 1911 because it was from 1911, and we're still using it. So like the concept of warfare hasn't changed dramatically when it comes to personal firearms. Military weaponry and vehicles and that kind of stuff have definitely changed, but that's part of the wrinkle. Like if you wind up in World War I, you're flying biplanes if you've got a vehicle. And then if you transfer into a different map, you're in fighter jets, and it's completely different. So there you go.
All right.
Yeah. Call of Duty, Call of Time.
I want both of them because I'm not gonna lie. I want to play the future versions of both of them, and I want to fly in space. So give me something in space with 0G where I gotta plan things out better, and that's what I want. I want to try and be more brainy than quick. I want to be strategic game over run and gun.
All right.
Okay.
So deliver to me one of those, gentlemen, and I'll play it. As for who won that debate, yeah, it's not on me. Come on, listeners, you know what to do. Next one. There were leaks this past week of a remastered GoldenEye to appear back on the 360. So, what games besides GoldenEye, because why would you take that out? I don't know. But what games besides GoldenEye from the 64 deserve a remaster? Cicero.
What games besides GoldenEye, just in general, or from Rare? Or from the 64?
From N64 in general. You don't have to choose Rare.
Oh, okay. What games from the N64 era need a remaster? Oh, this is fantastic.
Don't steal mine.
And it really should be, because there are games in this series, but they're nowhere near as good as this. And there needs to be a remaster of WWF No Mercy.
Okay, you didn't steal mine, but dang,
because
I played Raw.
Oh man, No Mercy.
Man, I played No Mercy.
No Mercy was the pinnacle, because the creation tool that they used for No Mercy was just fantastic. I remember my friends and I, we would go over to somebody's house, and the old school 4x3 TVs. We had a friend who had a 65-inch 4x3 projection television. So each one of us, so like when we'd play like GoldenEye or Star Fox or any of those games where it was 4-player split screen, we all had like a 19-inch screen, which was the size of a regular size TV at that time.
Yeah.
To use as our screen for our individual characters. But we would spend 30 minutes each creating our own characters. And then we would create tag teams, and you could make your own belts, and you had your own entrance music, and you could do your own move sets. And And the crazy thing was, it was so good that guys would sit there and watch other players create their characters and not get mad at the time that you're taking to create your character. And nowadays you could do that creation on an app. You could save those characters to the cloud.
Ooh.
And you could bring them over to a friend's house.
There you go.
And you could have your tag teams. You could do all sorts of stuff. If they could bring back No Mercy, it doesn't have to be WWF. I know it's, like it is WWE. We got the F out of here. But we can bring back No Mercy and remaster that game instead of these games that we are playing now by the Ukes guys. I don't know who owns that license since Acclaim is no longer in business, but shout out to Long Island and Long Island's own Acclaim development house. Owners of No Mercy or creators of No Mercy. Dope game.
Dope.
All right. So Cicero comes out swinging. No Mercy. Mike, you're punching back with.
I'm gonna be honest. WWF No Mercy was great. It was so good.
Mike
man.
is not punching back. Mike's accepting the L.
No.
No Mercy's happening.
Listen. I will accept the L. Just on the sole case that I want to play that game. I love the old wrestling games. But Cicero, hopefully you'll play my remaster because it definitely deserves it. Conker's Bad Fur Day. Conker's Bad Fur Day. So it was so crazy, to think that N64, this family entertainment system, had a game like Conker's Bad Fur Day. The crude humor, the adult nature of it, and it's all in a platformer. I mean, for crying out loud, there is a level where the boss is a mountain of poop, and you are feeding it corn kernels to defeat it. Like, it's just. Like, I really think that it would be fun to just have another crack at Conker's Bad Fur Day. And, I know they did, like, somewhat of a remaster already, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But, like, it would be nice to have up to par, like, new remaster stuff like today's standards is what I'm talking about, like the new Spyros of the world, the Crashes of the world, like that type of stuff. So not give it the Super Mario 64 up-res, the remaster, whatever that Nintendo tried to call it in the All-Star Collection, but actually get it up to standards now. I think that would be fun.
Well, sir, Conker's Bad Fur Day is a game of infamy because it's a game that I believe Blockbuster would not rent after they realized the content in the game. Yes, infamous game. You said that you'd like another crack at that game from its N64 original version, getting a remake or boosting the resolution. I hate to inform you, sir, that you've had 2 opportunities to do that and you have chosen not to do so. Not only was it part of the Rare Replay collection of 30 brilliant games from development house Rare, but it was that in that version, it was an emulation of the original port, of the original N64 port. So it not only does it not look great, it looks even worse because it is, a 480i game on a 1080p system or 4K display or what have you. But there was also an Xbox remake that may or may not be backwards compatible. I'm not sure about that. So you may want to take a look at that. So if you do take a look at that and it turns out that game is backwards compatible, I'm just going to disqualify you from this argument because the entry that you made
is
has
not
already
an
your
actual
wish
remaster.
your wish has already been granted.
No.
Oh, you want it. So you don't accept the versions that they've allowed you to play on current gen systems. You want them to take the time now to go ahead and polish it even more. So you don't want the first coat of wax. You want the second coat of wax.
You were saying,
okay.
You legitimately
All right.
are saying that the first coat of wax was on the original Xbox. Do you know how trashy some games looked on the original Xbox, bro?
Yeah, but do you know how much better they look than the N64
was on the original
version?
Xbox. It don't look good.
That is correct. No, but they've up-res that one.
Yeah,
right. They didn't have to
still
do
looked
anything
like a
other than
mess a little bit, even though it's
yeah, I mean,
up-resed.
and Conquer on the N64 did not, sir.
All I'm saying is, if you want to play, like, put Conker's Bad Fur Day on the Xbox Series S or the X, and you have a realistic freaking squirrel. Okay, we're talking like you could go touch a squirrel outside and it's the same on your TV. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
You know what, Cicero? I praised your remaster. Get out of town.
You did. You did. And I praised your remaster. I praised your game as well. I just denigrated your choice. So Conquer is
you're wrong.
Conquer is a great game.
Xbox is not good graphics.
You know what? That is true. That is fair. Listeners, I am mistaken. So let's be clear and honest about our choices here. The choices are: you can get a remaster of a fantastic game. Well, we're arguing about two fantastic games from the N64 era, right? But so on one hand, my opponent, my friend over here on the other side of the table, is giving you the option to play a game that you can play today on an Xbox system, but you can get a better version of that game. Hopefully they'll go back and make a better looking version of that game that you can play today, right?
Or
if you have an Xbox, or the person on the other side of his table, the person that's speaking to you now, is saying, let's remake a game that the last time you could play was on the N64. And now, 30 years or 25 years later.
Rough, yeah. We're pretty close to 30 years.
Yeah. 25 years later, you can play a new version of that game.
And by the way, I just confirmed that it's the sequel, Live and Reloaded, that is not that is backwards compatible. Just letting you know.
That is true.
And
that is true.
And secondly, listeners, listen to me. Cicero told you to get the F out of here.
Right. No, I said that WWE got the F out of here.
I'm just messing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't try and, context is king, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
and I will always remind you of the context
of video game history and backwards compatibility. Because
we're going to get the Fs in here, though. Are you guys ready? Getting the Fs in. Yeah? FIFA.
Oh, I see what you did there.
FIFA 21 slated for Stadia. Cicero, we know you've been a pretty big proprietor and guy who speaks up kindly for Stadia.
Yeah, proponent of Stadia.
Proponent, thank you. FIFA 21 slated to come to Stadia in March. Do you think third-party developers should continue to support their platform, or is Stadia dead? As a big proponent of Stadia, give me your take, and then Mike, I want you to cut him at the knees. Just take him out. Right?
Tis merely a flesh wound.
Come back. So should third-party developers still develop for Stadia? Yes. Is Stadia dead? Yes. So,
jumping on both sides of that fence again.
But I'm not. So, like, the reason that I don't think that I am is and I don't know this for certain, but I don't believe that there is any additional development costs associated with developing a game for Stadia versus developing a game for PC.
Yeah.
So if you've already developed a game for PC and is available for the PC platform, then all you've got to do is, giant assumptions on my part, but all you've got to do is make that available for Google's cloud repository. You know, you just FTP it over to their cloud server, where they're holding all their Stadia stuff, and there it is. The only problem is that if you're playing the damn game on Stadia, who are you going to play against? Because there's nobody on Stadia, you know, like you're going to be playing against Tumbleweed. Like it's just
a tumbleweed.
It is
like 5 of those West.
Right. So like hopefully as a result of this old guy being on this show from the 90s First podcast, we have some listeners that are around my demographic, and I can make this joke unashamedly. There was a Toys R Us commercial that was the king of all Toys R Us commercials about this kid instead of receiving the gift that he really wanted for Christmas, he instead received a rain check. And he went out and he played with the rain check as if it were the gift. So you see him swinging on the swing with the rain check, and he's like, "Rain check, you're my best friend." And then he's doing the cabbage patch. He's like, go rain check," and then the narrator's talking about, don't let your kids be like this and come to Toys R Us. That's what it's like playing multiplayer games on Stadia, right? Okay. Like it is the rain check of playing multiplayer games. So I don't know if it's going to be an option for people that enjoy playing multiplayer games to play FIFA on Stadia. But if, again, as we talked about last week, the tech is not the issue with Stadia, right? The tech works. If what is attractive to you is, hey, I can bring my controller and a Chromecast and a Chromebook to my mom's house or to work or to wherever it is that I'm going to be, and I can play the games that I like because of the service that I have, then that's great. But if you expect to be able to play those games with other people, then you're never going to be playing them on Stadia to begin with.
Yeah.
Mike, Stadia is dead. Cicero just said it. Why should these third-party people develop games for Stadia? I mean, you got to fight the fight. Fight the good fight, man.
I don't know. I guess Cicero is right in a couple of regards. Yeah, maybe they already have it developed for PC. They could just flip a switch. But again, as he said, that's our giant assumption. We're not game developers. The other side of the coin is that, if I was arguing FIFA 21 specifically, like, why? FIFA 22 is almost out. Like, come March, FIFA 22 is 5-6 months away, that type of thing. So, I mean, who knows? But I don't know. I just don't see. I'll use your argument as mine. There's not a lot of profit in putting your game out on Stadia, in my opinion, because if you're putting a multiplayer game on there, again, why would you buy it? Why the fact that you have to buy a $60 controller in order to have access to that program, to play it off your Chromecast, because you can't use like an Xbox controller, only if it's on a PC, right? Then. Like, why? There's the input lag, there's the multiplayer. Like, I just don't think there's any true profit in putting your game on Stadia. Maybe explore Luna as a subscription service. Put your game on Xbox Game Pass. It's a lot easier. Better business model, as Paris said last week.
So, so FIFA will already be on Game Pass because it's part of EA Access because it's an EA game. So that's done, right? That's already done. As a person who has both services, and I realize one is in beta, Stadia, as bad as it is light years ahead of Luna. It is much better than Luna, in terms of the way the interface works and even the lack of latency. So like Stadia as a piece of tech is great. The other thing that I think you got wrong about Stadia, Mike, is that you don't need to buy the Stadia controller anymore. That's one thing that they got right. You can use an Xbox controller
on the Chromecast.
You can use it on PC. You can use it. No. So not on your Chromecast.
Yeah, that's
I
what
would
I
recommend.
specified.
But I would recommend not using Chromecast to play Stadia games.
Yeah, but that's what I said specifically. I said specifically Chromecast you need if you wanted to do that.
Right. So like so the problem with the Chromecast is the Chromecast overheats, and it still overheats if you're playing Stadia games on your Chromecast, on the 4K Chromecast. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend playing Stadia at all on Chromecast. I would recommend playing it on browser. And in fact, when I was making my argument, I was very specific about saying, hey, I can go anywhere with a controller, whether it be an Xbox controller, a PlayStation controller, and a Chromebook, right? Yeah. So this is a super light footprint, and you can actually play Xbox with Xbox controllers on your phone, on your mobile device. But the way that they intended it, the way that I got suckered into buying Stadia is not the optimal way to play Stadia games, just based on my own personal experiences. Yeah. I would never say that. And again, the other thing is, when by the time we're all able to go back outside for real, Stadia won't exist. Like, let's be real. So don't invest money into peripherals or even into software that you can't retrieve back, or you feel like you may lose, like you can't afford to lose. Yeah. So like if my personal recommendation for this service and this game specifically is for Google to seriously try and negotiate rights to whatever the PC version of EA Access is. I don't think it's Origin Access anymore, but whatever that is, get that on the service and borrow the thing from Luna that actually does work, which is the subscription services, and just pivot Google, Stadia for as long as it exists as a place where you can play your subscription services that you have, your gaming subscription services that you have, without having to download the games or worry about updates or any of that other stuff, where you can play those games that you have available to you immediately. Done.
So I'm hearing a pretty general consensus here. Stadia's dead. Hey, don't go out and buy it. Don't go buy it. Don't go out and get it. Don't make things for it. And hey, if you've got it, there's no one playing anyways. So good luck.
Got tumbleweeds.
All right.
This is rain checks.
It is weekly fight time, but this week we're doing something different. Tomorrow, as of recording right now, tomorrow is the Super Bowl.
That is correct.
So tell me who you got in the Super Bowl. That's our weekly fight. Who you got? It could be the same. But who you got? Who you got in the Super Bowl? Who's winning? Is it the Tampa Bay Bradyneers? Or
the Tampa Bay Bradyneers?
Or the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think the Buccaneers can pull it out. I think they have a defense, and I think there's a little bit. There's a lot of injuries on the Kansas City O-line. And Tampa Bay has the defense, plus they have the offense to back it up too. I think if Tom Brady avoids those interceptions, because there's one thing about Kansas City is that they make you pay. If they get any turnovers, they will score on you. So I think Tampa Bay could pull it out, but I think Kansas City's going to win. I do.
All right. Cicero, what you got? He's
Wait,
shaking his head.
what?
Whoa.
What just happened here?
No.
I
was giving like a Tampa Bay. I think they could pull it out, but I think Patrick Mahomes is just too special.
I think late conversation Mike contradicted early conversation Mike, and he was able to hedge his bets. I'm putting $50 on both teams.
Yeah,
I won. So are you officially going with the Chiefs?
Yes, I do think the Chiefs will win.
Okay.
But I was just explaining how I believe. Hey, it's a
Mike's
game.
going Chiefs, even though he made a great argument for
People
Tampa
are gonna
Bay.
watch it. It's a game.
Yep, it is a game.
It's a game. There'll be
It's a
people.
game.
They'll be watching it.
People
They'll
are
be
going
enjoying
to be
food,
watching it.
Watching it, sitting in the homes
there will
with
Gonna
be
the
be
family.
having bacon dip. I'm excited for
Yeah,
bacon dip.
there's
Gonna have some
commercials.
sauce.
Yeah, some sauce.
Beluga sauce.
Yeah, some Peter Luger sauce. Yeah. So that, you know what, that should have been the debate. The debate should have been Peter Luger sauce versus A1 sauce.
It's a sauce.
Yeah. People put stuff on it. They put it on
You
stuff.
know, they
You
eat
put it
that
on
stuff.
meat. They eat it. You know.
Oh man.
So all right. So here we go. We got Mother Teresa over here has decided to make the most political of political answers by saying that, you know,
Did you just call me Mother
I'm
Teresa?
making, yeah,
Bro.
yeah, Mikey Teresa over here.
Mikey
Say hi to your
Teresa.
Mother Teresa for me.
Say hi to your
You know
Mother
what I'm
Teresa
saying?
for me.
So yeah,
No, your
so
Mother Teresa.
yeah, so like this guy starts out by making a compelling argument for Tom Brady, for the Brady
Tampa
Buccaneers, the Tampa
Brady
Bay
Nears.
Brady Nears. But then at the end of it is like,
That's
yeah, and that is why I'm picking the Chiefs to win. All right. So since he's picking the Chiefs to win, I'm going to, as a Jet fan, as a person who watched my Niners last year snatch defeat from the jaws of victory against the very Kansas City Chiefs that are playing this year. As a guy who has a person who started this season as a Jet, who is now playing in the Super Bowl as a Chief in Le'Veon Bell, is going to tell you why definitively the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win the Super Bowl.
I mean, I told you how they're gonna win. You know, we don't need that.
He made the argument for you, is what he's saying.
Right.
He's just hoping he's wrong.
Yes.
No, I'm not hoping. I just you could have feelings about one team.
Yeah. So the thing about Super Bowl, guys, is it is the ultimate display of the will to win, courage, grace under pressure,
And commercials.
but also poise, right? And how do you gain poise? Some people are born with poise. Some people are just unflappable. But a lot of times you gain poise with experience. And you know, there's an axiom in sports: act like you've been there before. Well, Tom Brady doesn't have to act like he's been there before, because Tom Brady has been to the Super Bowl more than most teams have been to the Super Bowl
It's a fair argument.
in their franchise history.
10 times.
So if he wins a Super Bowl tomorrow, he will have won more Super Bowls than any team in the NFL.
7.
Right? So that is why he is going to win a Super Bowl tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Because he has been there. He knows what it takes. And that is the thing, right? That is why Tampa went from a joke of a team the day before Tom Brady joined that team to, oh, wow, to our guest last week, Paris Lilly, saying, you know what? We can make the playoffs. You know, being able to say that with his whole chest the day after they came there. Because the guys in the locker room can't doubt that he has the recipe. He knows the formula. He knows how to do it. And when he sneezes, even the head coach is saying bless you. Right? So if Tom Brady says this is right. But if Tom Brady says the way that you make it to the Super Bowl is to put half mustard, half ketchup on your hot dogs, guess what everybody's doing?
Putting onions on it because you need onions on a hot dog.
Right. Guess what everybody is doing? So I had a friend that I grew up with who played for the New York Jets, right? And he played for the New York Jets when Jelly will know this guy, when Ronnie Lott was a New York Jet.
Name.
Yes.
Hey.
Right? Ronnie Lott, one of the greatest defensive backs in the history of football, great 49er, lost his finger to continue to play football.
Yeah, so take it off. I'm playing the game.
Take it off instead of missing a few weeks. Well, he played for the Jets for a couple of seasons. My friend was a player on that team. When Ronnie Lott whispered, everyone shut up. Because there was nobody on that team who garnered more respect. That they knew that if they wanted to be a winning franchise, if they wanted to do things the right way, then it doesn't matter what he says to do, you do it. Because there was nobody in the organization who understood what it took to win than him.
Yeah.
And there is nobody in the history of football that understands what it takes to win consistently than Tom Brady.
TB12.
And that is why there will be a second world championship celebrated by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come tomorrow.
All right.
I thought
You heard it here
the
first.
Kansas City Chiefs just, just
That
like
would have been pretty good. That would have been pretty good. But I didn't go there.
Mike going Kansas City. Cicero, Tampa Bay. Jelly
Can you
doesn't watch
stop saying
football. I
Tampa
won't even
Bay?
be watching I won't be watching the Super Bowl tomorrow. You guys
You
will have
won't?
to fill me in on who wins.
Oh, you're such a selfish human being you are.
I'll watch the commercials. I might tune in for halftime. We'll see. But all that in between stuff bores me.
It's the weekend.
All right, gentlemen. I'm changing up our leaderboard because we're running late. It's been a great episode.
It has been a great episode.
Mike, you get one game. Cicero, you get one game. I get one game.
Right.
Give me a top three. Do it now, Mike. One game. One top 5, 3 sci-fi game. What is your number one sci-fi game?
Portal 2, one of the best games of all time.
Damn you.
Did I take yours?
Yes, I freaking love that game. And I can't play it anywhere.
You only gave me one, so
I
I'm going
know.
to choose my favorite.
Dang it. Well, shoot. Portal 2's out. I'm screwed. Cicero, what you got? I'll think of one in a minute.
Don't worry about it. You won't guess this one. Elite Dangerous.
Didn't see that one coming. Oh man, week after week. Elite Dangerous. Been playing Elite Dangerous. Elite Dangerous. Yeah, Elite Dangerous.
Portal 2 will be yours, and I will throw out.
No. Don't say it. You can't say anything. You already said
Why?
it. Portal 2. Cicero's got Elite Dangerous. I'm going with Half-Life Alex. It was fantastic and scared me and made me feel uncomfortable when I was playing
There you
it.
go.
And it's a great game.
Great VR
If you
game.
can play it on VR, do it. It scares me. It actually makes me feel anxiety. So it's fun, but it's not
kudos
fun,
to
but
you
it's
for
real fun.
playing it, man. Yeah, seriously.
So I'm doing it. Half-Life Alex is mine. So we've got Portal 2, which is my top one, but Mike stole it. We've got Elite Dangerous by Cicero,
It's
and
mine.
I'm giving you Half-Life Alex in VR specifically. That's it. That's our top 3 this
There's
week.
podium.
Sci-fi games.
Yeah.
I think we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
Good job.
Gentlemen,
outta
it's
here.
been a great one.
Yes.
We're wrapping it up. Thank you guys for listening. As always, you can find us on the socials, Stubby Stan everywhere. Mike, he's on Twitter. He's the stay-at-home gamer. I
Nope.
am.
Not anymore.
Oh,
Not
that's right.
anymore.
You did the name change.
Yeah, step your game up,
90s
son.
first.
Mike 90s first. I forgot you just did that name change. Mike 90s
Branding.
first on Twitter, and I am me. Find me. I'm in the 90s first. I'm on the 90s first account. That's where you find me. I don't do Twitter. Ladies, gentlemen, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Gentlemen, thank you for
Peace.
joining me for another one. Let's call it. It's over. We're out.
I won. Peace.
Bye.